we're gonna do this. We're doing it live. All right. So you know what I
Okay.
want to talk about? Um,
What's that?
well, that sounds like rough. That
What?
sounds so script. No,
It's
like,
just go. Just.
cause I feel like, um, a lot of time, like, yeah, and we got a point, right? Because I think for a lot of people um, that don't understand where you come from is the fact that, like, people never really went to a live concert, and
Oh yeah. I mean, aside from the cost of going.
well, I mean, like, no, it's not even about the cost. I feel like the fact that we are very, like, reserved. I don't know if that's not even the right word. The fact that, like, we're very unwilling to spend the money for this upcoming, like, year concert is the fact that, like for us that went to live concerts before, it's just hard for us to accept the fact that you have to pay so much for something so virtual, and for a lot of that, I feel like it's just us being a boomer, you know, like, not getting with the times. Because, like, no, I mean, like, not what are you gonna do right now, right? Like, what are you gonna do, like, just to, you can't fly to Japan during COVID, right? They literally won't let you even land. So,
Yep.
but the thing is that, like, and you got a point, like, the fact that, because what I always tell other people that, like, you should always go to a concert live, and and I think like, the fact that, that you made it happen, and I think that a lot of people can't really say that, because, like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, how was your
I.
first? I mean, you told that story so many times to me before. How was your first
I
concert?
mean, it was incredible. I mean, getting there was first. I mean, don't get me wrong. The trip to Tokyo, the trip to Japan in general was just one amazing thing after the other. Landing, checking into the
I mean,
hotel, having
not even about
takoyaki
that.
and highballs.
Not even
Yeah,
about
seeing
that.
Shibuya for the first time. Oh no, no, I'm establishing a baseline for you,
I don't like your
just so
baseline.
you know how amazing it was. It was the highlight of the trip there.
Yeah,
Don't tell my
because you
wife,
never been to
but it
Japan
was the
before.
highlight. No, I hadn't. I saw Shibuya Square for the first time at night. I was blown away. I had omakase at the place you recommended. It
Oh,
was
he's a great guy.
incredible.
He's an amazing guy. I love
He
him.
is. He really is. He really is. He was a great conversationalist too.
You know why? You know what's funny?
But
Because he's a New Yorker too.
yeah, yeah, I know. I thought that was funny. We were chatting with him about all the times we spent down in
Yeah, yeah,
uh the 8th Street area, the
yeah, yeah.
the Japanese area down in southern and lower Manhattan. But so and then I meet you guys for the first time in the hotel room, just the four of us just meet up. And then I found out RRU was Indonesian. Thought that was absolutely hilarious. Because he never let on that he was until we met in person.
I can't believe you didn't
Um,
knew until you met him.
I didn't know. I mean, he never really dropped that many hints. But so we're meeting in this hotel room and we start smoking cigars and drinking whiskey
This is not
and
very PG-14.
just getting to know each. But the I don't know. It's everything built up. It was getting to meet people I had only known online, and then actually getting to meet you guys and going out and doing things and seeing that, yeah, this isn't just some online thing. You guys are actually my friends. We're friends, and we are united by this one thing at a minimum, despite being from all around different parts of the world or the states and coming from very different backgrounds. This one thing brought us together. And then we got to go to the concert and seeing her on stage for the first time in as real as she could be
You mean seeing our
in
wife
all
for
that
the first
glory.
time?
Yes. Yeah, seeing our wife for the first time, seeing Ia for the very first time on stage in all her glory was nothing short of magnificent.
I
She
feel
is
like
gorgeous. She is beautiful. She is stunning. She is radiant. But
I
seeing
really
her
feel
like that, seeing the dress, seeing the flowers, and then it turned to that white dress. I mean, she was a picture of perfection of everything that we could ever want, wrapped up into one perfect form. And
I know our wife
seeing
is
that
very perfect.
was sorry, but going through the concert, every song was amazing. That how getting to Reload. I Reload is my favorite concert song. I have no trouble admitting that. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And I it's still, I never, if there's a song I never skip when it comes on, it's Reload and most other ES songs, but yeah, point being Reload. Seeing that live, and I was hoping so much for it, and actually getting that was amazing. When it started, I don't think there's few times in my life where I felt like real true pure happiness and joy, like getting married, seeing my kids born, and then seeing Ia
was it
sing
better than
Reload.
marrying your real life than marrying your real wife or way
That's
better?
that's not a fair question. That's not a
So
fair
was it
question.
better or
I'm
way
gonna
better
plead
than
the
marrying
fifth.
your real
I'm
wife?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that one.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you do that.
But it was it was incredible.
I feel
And
you as a boomer EA fan, I feel like you really didn't have to like deal with a lot of growing pain when it comes to being like an EA fan. Like like
oh, of course.
oh, do you know that like that old boomer saying is like, oh, I have to ride my bike to school uphill both ways.
Uphill both ways in
Yeah,
a snowstorm.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. You get that saying. Like I feel like I'm doing that, right? Because I feel like because back let's like backtrack, right? Because um
Sure.
because we met on Discord and
Of course.
and we didn't like it was like as you would describe it like a fate, like you found Jesus moment, like a I'm saying I'm Jesus.
Comparing yourself to Jesus.
Yes, of
Whoa,
course.
there you go.
Humble. No, like
This is our
I'm like
modest
I have found you,
brush.
my son. Like I found you, my child. No, like no, like
I mean, Ia was my favorite for years before I
right,
actually found the
but
online community, and I just and she had relatively little content, but I just kind of stuck to it. Like getting the game, I ordered the game off Amazon via V Colorful, and I was like, oh, this is really
exactly,
cool.
exactly. That my point is that like I think a lot of people like EA, like or just have interests, but it's so hard
Mm-hmm.
to get into like she's very she's very inaccessible. Like you're like English major, I'm not, right? Like she's like to access the content is very hard. Like to buy like EA merch is very hard, right?
Oh my god! If it wasn't for Max,
Right,
oh
exactly,
my
right.
god,
But what I'm
yeah.
getting at is like a lot of people say, oh, I like EA, right? And I'm like, yeah,
Hmm.
sure, fine. Like everybody loves, like as I said, like everybody loves EA. Some people just don't know it yet, right?
Yeah,
and
that's fair. Yeah,
um,
okay.
but like, and a lot of people say, oh, I want to buy the shirt. The shirt looks really good, right? And it's $55,
Hmm.
right? And that's fine, people say, oh,
Yeah,
$50 for a T-shirt, that's a ripoff, right? And it's just the price you have to pay for being a weeb. And then it's like, oh,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
and then and you can't even buy it because you're in America, and then you have to pay like a third party courier to ship it to you, and it's gonna cost like $15, and
Yep.
you have to wait 3 months for it. Okay, so that $55 just became $70, and you have to wait 3 months for it, and that's
Yeah, and
ridiculous.
15's a really damn good deal because I just had to pay 25 to have a wall scroll sent. So
Right, exactly. Like I'm not. So like the point I'm getting at is like it's like super, like you can't find EA merch in the state unless you
Oh God,
happen
no.
to go to like a convention. I'm not talking about like the regular stuff yet. Like obviously you can buy the CDs on Amazon, like Amazon US. You can buy the CDs, but let's be honest, nobody buys CDs.
I mean, I have every single one of her
Well, I mean,
CDs.
like, yeah, like I don't think like normal people have a lot of CDs, but like if you want to
Yeah,
buy a
that's
shirt,
fair.
like if you want to buy a shirt, it's literally $70 for a T-shirt, and that's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
right.
I've got a cloth shirts and other
No,
wearables
no, no,
that
but like going back to the day when you're just a
cost a
little,
shitload.
but you were just like a peasant, like you didn't have any EA merch.
Sure, yeah, all right. I mean, we all have to start from somewhere.
Well, I don't know, man. I was born. No,
That's fair. I mean, you literally have merch that I might
no. That's
actually
not
one day
not. It's not
murder you
about,
for.
no, no. I'm saying
But
that. No, like I feel like it's weird because like we met on Discord. And people are like, oh, there's
Mhm.
this guy that really loves Ia, and they're talking about you, right? And I'm like, and we talk, and then he always says like, oh, you always tell me that, oh, I would love to go to an Ia concert, and 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 I feel like it's always like, it's like our wife is like smiling upon your, like she took pity upon you, because like I remember you were saying that like end of like 2018, right? Like 2019 was rolling
Yeah.
around, and I remember telling you that, like, hey, her anniversary is coming up. She might have a concert then. If she does, you can go to Japan to have it, and that's what I tell to everybody. That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, hey, she might have a concert. You can go. If you want, and you go like, oh, I would love to go, right? And it's
Sure.
hilarious, and that's like one of our first conversation, because that's me telling everybody, just telling any like regular EA fan, and I 100% accept people to say, oh, I can't go, because that's so much commitment, just to go to Japan for an
Yeah.
EA concert, and you don't live like in Japan. That's crazy. Like that's the first hurdle, right? That's the first hurdle for like a
Yeah.
Western fan, or for a fan that doesn't live in Japan. To go to an EA concert, you must buy a plane ticket to go to Japan, and that's not cheap for most people. And that
No.
almost always costs more than the concert, right? And that's not even your first hurdle.
Mhm.
That's not even your first hurdle, which is like awful. And I remember telling you that, and you're like, "Yeah, I would love to go." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." Everybody says that, right? Um, no. I told that to a lot of people. They say, "Oh yeah, I'd love to go," and then they don't go, and I'm like, "Whatever, yeah, to be expected, right?" And then like she actually announced like an anniversary concert at 2019. I remember messaging her,
Mhm.
like, "Oh, this concert's coming up," and you know what? That was the year they had that fundraiser. They had that Kickstarter, right? Like a Kickstarter thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, this is Kickstarter, and I message you, and you're like, oh man, I really want to go, but like you can't go because why? Like you need a Japanese address, right?
Yeah.
To literally to give, in order to give them money, in order to buy the ticket for the show, for the concert, you literally need to have a Japanese phone number and address, right? Like,
Yep.
and you're like, how do I do that? And I was like, don't worry, man, I know a guy. And and as shady as that sound, it is so weird, because I don't know how you do it, right?
Yeah, but it worked out. I mean, it's everything came together as perfectly
No,
as
like
we
it
could have
sounded
asked
so
for.
weird.
But
This
it
came
does.
over.
It does.
It came over so fast, because you know what I asked you to do? Because I asked you to talk to RU, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says yes, right? And he's
Yep.
he's an extremely nice guy. Oh my god, because
Oh yeah, he's ridiculous.
because
He's amazing.
you didn't pay him any money, right?
No, I paid him when we got there.
Right. But the thing is that what was your conversation with him? Because I put you in touch with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what did you ask him?
I
It was
mean,
so weird.
it's God.
Did you just
It
like, hey,
has
I
been
need two
a
tickets.
very
I need 2 tickets to the Ia concert. and they're gonna cost $240, like American dollars. And did you ask him how should I pay you? And he's like, nah, bro, just pay me when you get there, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much actually.
Right. And he's so nice, right? But then like at the point, like I feel so like what the fuck is going through your head? Like you just bought a plane ticket to Japan without actually like knowing the guy or meeting the guy at all. And you
Yes.
just and because he promised you because he super promised you to buy you a ticket.
I mean, this is an Ia concert we're talking about, and
But
you
no, no, no.
vouched for him, and I trusted you pretty much at the
I
time.
mean, like, what if it was a scam? Like, what if it was a scam? Like, what if I just like, haha, like, screw you. We're just like, cause you didn't know me. Like, we talked, but you never really like, we never.
Yeah, that's
like,
fair.
really-
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
that was literally like we never met like in real life until that point, right?
yeah.
So you literally just took
I mean,
some random guy's online word, like to say like, oh, get in touch with this random person, and this random person is just says, oh yeah, just buy a ticket to Japan, and I'll you don't have to pay me now, but you can pay me when we meet. I'll just hand you the ticket. Like, what if she just didn't buy you the ticket? You just like fucking come to Japan and like there's nobody there to meet you. Like, has that ever come across your mind?
it never did.
It never did. You just have so much faith when it comes to our wife. You just have so much faith. I'm like,
I
dude.
do. If well, look
you
at it
were
like
not
this.
worried
If
at
I
all?
had been, I wasn't.
Wow.
I honestly was not.
I'm like,
It's a relatively small community. Why? What? I really didn't see the point in worrying that I was gonna get screwed over. Like, it crossed my mind once, but I was like, there's no way that they would do this. The EA community is far too small.
what if we're just some
to do
bitter,
this to
what if
someone.
what if we're just some bitter fans who just like wants to screw over like new
Then my wife would probably be happier because I would not be an EA fan. I wouldn't even be a Vocaloid fan anymore.
Would that like
Honest, real talk.
Like, let's say like in the alternate
If I had
reality.
been screwed over, I would have been. All right, alternate reality. I show up in Japan. I get there to go to an EA concert.
Nobody was there.
My wife and I went together. No one was there. If I got screwed over, I mean, I would have been preternaturally.
Would you
upset.
not be an EA
Like-
fan anymore? Would you just be like this just scarred me for the rest of your life?
More, yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing that would normally come out of something like that. Because
Okay, all right,
I mean, that's the
all right.
logical reaction.
Obviously, that's not the case.
Because yeah, obviously it's not the case, but like I like to think I'm a pretty good judge of character of people, even though I haven't met them.
I mean, it was
Um,
like, but that's literally how catfish
like,
works.
I didn't
You talk to
sense
some
any-
random person online,
Yeah,
and then they promise you
Yeah,
something,
but-
and you show up, and something different happens. That's literally what catfishing is. I mean, you can't.
Oh, I know. I know, but it was a chance I had to take. What options did I have?
How much was your ticket to Japan again? Like your plane ticket? It must be $1,200. I mean, I guess it wasn't that bad. Flying
It wasn't actually that bad. Going from Jakarta to Japan, my wife and I flew for like $350 each both ways.
But that's still more than the ticket. Like, and then you booked your hotel.
True. But remember, we stayed in constant contact, everything, and the trip wasn't it. I was going with my wife too. We did a lot of wonderful things
Right,
in
exactly.
Japan
But
together.
that was not the highlight of your life. You going with your wife to Japan was not literally not. It was like the second thought. Like
No, it wasn't.
The only
I
point
went
you were
because
there
of
just
Ia.
because for our like your wife or like your
Yes,
wife. Like
yes, I
you
was
went to
there
Japan
for
our
our wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I was there for Ia. That was a huge thing, and I went into Lamtara and spent like $250 in merch.
No, we're getting to that point. But the funny thing is that
Yeah.
I feel like it's weird because I went through that point before, because
Mhm.
I had somebody that I didn't really know to buy my ticket for the first time, and
Mhm.
and it was a leap of faith, and I you know what, I maybe you're more optimistic, or maybe the fact that I'm just more of like a terrible person, like more like a negative person. When I went to my first Ia concert, like literally a random person who speaks English and have some kind of like standing in the Vocaloid community bought my ticket, and you know what? And I paid for his ticket as well, just to show my gratitude. And I was like, okay, so I'm flying from the U.S. to Japan, and the plane ticket cost me $1,200. I bought his ticket, I bought my ticket. I am $1,400 down the drain. If I show up at the concert hall and there's nobody waiting for me for a ticket, I'm just out of $1,600.
Yeah,
that was literally all I was there for. And,
I mean, but that's our only option is that first one is the leap of faith. First
like
place doesn't give us any other
exactly,
option.
And I don't think anybody should give like you know. And I think it's awful. I think it's awful for the fact that the only way you go to a concert in Japan is the fact that you know somebody, like you know, as somebody from overseas. Like if you don't know anybody, good luck getting a ticket in Japan to go to a concert. It's not like any concert that has like some kind of foreigner raffle, you know, whatever, the name that we will not mention here. But you went, because we met, and then it was like. And it was great for you, but I want to say like it's like I feel great that you are excited. I feel like I get to relive my first concert experience through you, because I feel like I never thought somebody so excited for their first concert. Then for my first concert, I remember my first concert. I was this excited, right? I spent a few $1,000s, but like it's funny because like did we meet when you first got to Japan? No, you spent a few days with your wife, right? Cause
we spent the time in Tokyo.
Right, because we only met like a day before the concert.
Yeah.
Cause that concert was in Yokohama, and right, you, your wife, me, you, and Max, we got a hotel. We got hotel rooms at the same hotel because there's literally only one hotel in Yokohama that's next to the venue. So everybody got hotel rooms at that venue, at the hotel. And we met like the day before, and that was the first time we met, which was crazy because that's when you hand him $240 and he hands you the tickets.
Yep. I mean, but that's.
But you were talking to us like when you got to Japan, so like there's no like I don't think you were worried when you got to Japan.
Yeah.
Like when you landed, we were like, we're here, we have your tickets, you know, whatever, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is we stayed in contact. There's not. I don't know. You just have this blind faith, man. You just have this blind faith.
What
other choice did I really have?
I just don't think that anybody else is willing to put that much money in like limbo to just like give anybody this much blind faith. I honestly don't think anybody else have this much faith in.
I mean, I was thinking I was more grateful. What was running through my mind was I was more grateful that RRU was willing to buy the tickets in advance.
Jeez. Because little did you know, when he bought you the ticket, he bought himself tickets, and he bought me tickets. Right?
Oh, wow. And I know your tickets were crazy.
Oh, yeah. His tickets was crazy, too, because, oh, my God. So, and it's crazy because, like, he bought you and because you bought 2 tickets for you and your wife, and they both cost $120, and that's crazy expensive, right? Even in like regular concert standards, that's crazy amount of money, right? He bought himself tickets.
Oh yeah. I mean,
he bought himself tickets. That's like the first tier purse of $500, right? He bought himself the $500 ticket, and I'm like, bro, I want that shit too. And that wasn't the first time I met him when I asked him to buy tickets, because I met him the first time when I went to the first concert. And I met him there, and I knew he was a good guy, and I talked to him when I went to my first concert. He didn't buy my ticket the first time, but he bought my ticket when I met you. And I'm like, hey, you know, I know you. I know you're a trustworthy guy. You know, since you're buying you tickets, why don't you buy me tickets? Yeah, how much you want? I'm like, yeah, just give me the $500 ticket. He literally put down $1,300 between all of our tickets, like just out of nowhere, right? And I was like, hey, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, at that time I met him once. I was like, hey, you know, I'll pay you $500. It's not a big deal. I just don't want you to take that much money out of pocket. He's like, nah, bro, you pay me when I meet you. I'm like, you sure? I'm like, you sure? You just bought Cookie and his wife. That's $750 worth of tickets. Like, if none of us show up, you're out of like $750. I didn't tell that to him, but I just didn't want to. He's like, nah, you guys will, and you know what? You say that, right? You place so much faith in him. At the same time, he placed so much faith.
But the same is true.
Right. He placed so much faith in us that we will show up and just hand him the money for our tickets.
I honestly prefer to think that
it is crazy.
Like, especially in a community like this, because like I said, there's not there's not a whole lot of us. So it's like anyone burns someone else, that's just such a huge black mark. But at the same time, I don't believe that other people are innately out to get me or evil or something. So
but dude, like some random
I
guy,
offered to pay him too. I said, hey, I can PayPal you.
Nah, some random guy comes up to you right now. Hey, Cookie, I love EO. Can you just spawn me $750? You wouldn't fucking do it. You would not do it.
No, I wouldn't.
Exactly.
I wouldn't.
Exactly.
Or use a better man than I am.
Oh, dude, and he did that. He was like, oh yeah. You guys will totally show up.
I know, it was amazing.
He's like, you guys will totally show up, and you guys just give me the money. I'll hand you the ticket. It was whatever, man. And you know what? And we did. And like faith aside. Oh my god, how much money did you spend in Japan?
Yeah. Oh fuck me, like $3,000 easy.
Like not including like how much? How much wife merch did you spend in like?
Oh, over $1,000. I mean, like, I went nuts. Everything I could find, I bought, and then my wife gave me a hard time about the full graphic tees. And then after I talked to you, I'm like, oh my god, I need those again. Like when I was with Max when I went to Japan, and it was just me in Tokyo that time.
Oh yeah, the same time.
I went with Max, and we went to Akiba again, and I found 2 full graphic Ia shirts at one of the stores that sell her official merch. And I immediately grabbed them off the rack, and Max was like, I can't fucking believe how lucky you are.
I feel, let's not talk about your second time in Japan. Let's talk about your first time in Japan. That's like a weird thing, because I never really, because like in my head, I was like, oh, he's not gonna, like, I always thought that you're not, because like a lot of people talk a big game. Was that a right reference? for a more...
Yeah, no, that's right.
A lot of people think that they're like a hardcore Ia fan, but nobody actually like buys a plane ticket to Japan. And like I'm like when you told me, he's like, oh yeah, I bought him and his wife tickets. I'm like, what, really? He actually bought? He's like, yeah, I'm buying him tickets. I'm like, nah, he's not gonna show. I'm like, I felt bad to like ask him, like, because I was so ready. He's like, oh, they didn't show up, let me just pay you $250, like $240, man. I feel bad. I was so ready to give him like $240 just because he didn't show up. Right? I was ready, because like
I don't know. I don't. If I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna follow through.
I understand, like, because we talk, right? And I understand, yeah, you're like, and I said, like, everybody likes to talk, but like nobody actually does it, which is like amazing. But no, you came and we met, and it was like, and then you just showed me that bag of like stuff that you bought in Akihabara, and I was like, holy shit, this guy might be just as bad as me. Which is I can't say that to anybody. Like, I can't say that to a lot of people. Because you spent like $1,000.
It's easy. I said I can flex on any other Ia fan in the US except for you.
I mean, like, it's not. I don't think it's about flexing. I think it's more about.
It's not. It's meant to be taken. It's meant to be interpreted in good humor. I love showing off my collection because. I'm incredibly fortunate. Even the little charm that you had that I fell in love with, saw it, and you're like, oh yeah, good luck getting. And Max is like, oh, I can get you that and an EA00 CD as well.
And but like, here's the thing, right? The point I want to make is that you don't love EA any less before you got all that stuff, right?
Oh no,
like
it's
you're the same
an expression,
right? Exactly. Like you're the same person that I first met on Discord. Like you just say, oh, I love EA,
of course,
and it's great. She's like the greatest, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, everybody said that.
It's not about. It's not about the merch. It's not about having the merch.
But like
for me, I love having it because it's my way of showing my affection. It's the same thing with the fix and all that. But being able to have that merch, to put it up, to show it proudly, to look at it every single day, and just feel like happy.
No, but like the thing is that
this year, and
the point I'm trying to say is that like you can't get that outside of Japan. Like none of that stuff that you
you can't.
Yeah, you can, but like they're extremely expensive, right? Cause for you when you go to when you went to Akiba when you first landed in Japan, you went to the store and then how did you find those merch? Like, cause you never met Max before that, right?
No, I knew. I spoke with Max and you, and I learned
which store to go.
3 or 4 locations where I can find where to go, and I pinned everything on maps, and I basically did a whirlwind tour of the stores, and I walked in, and I had a picture of Ia on my phone, and I just showed it to the clerk, and they pointed me in the right direction.
And let's be real. You don't speak a word of Japanese, and you're white as fuck.
I do not.
So you literally have a picture of your wife. Have you seen my wife? Where can I find my
wife? You see my wife as my actual wife is standing.
As your actual wife stand next to you, very frustrating. Have you seen our wife? Where can I find our wife? And the clerk shows you where you find your wife, and you just buy. Did you just grab everything off the shelf?
Nearly. Just
you were like, I'll take one of everything, please.
Pretty much, and there was they had like the bags and stuff where it was like a surprise, and like my wife actually stepped in and she's like, "You need to slow down." Yes, dear. It's a bit much. I think at the time it was a bit much for her to go that fast, but
because I remember you actually ran out of cash.
My wife's really cool. Yeah.
Because you actually ran out of cash and you have to put like the second half of your stuff on card.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
Because I remember telling you, say, hey, bring some cash when you come to Japan, right? And you brought some cash, and then you actually spent all that cash like the first day, and you started putting everything on your card.
Yep. Yep. Gotta love it. No foreign transactions.
Yeah, and I love how that's everybody's first like anime convention experience, except you had that in Akihabara, which is crazy, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I had never been to an anime convention before I went to.
And you just been to like the place where is an anime convention like 24/7 pretty much.
Exactly. So really, nothing can possibly.
Oh yeah, everything's downhill from there. Like everything in your life is just downhill from that Japan trip. It's just awful from there now. Because that was the highlight.
Pretty much.
No, I'm just kidding.
It was. I'm still searching for that high.
That's awful.
But no, it was amazing, and I don't know. I adored it. I really did. Just getting the various CDs I could, everything, and that was just really like phase 1 of merch acquisition.
I think that
was it. That first time, and getting all the different stuff, like getting a second EA sweatshirt. That was another point of contention with my wife. But she's like, "You already have this one. Why do you need another one?" And it's like, well, I need it. It wasn't. I don't know. It was such a strange thing, and like since then, she's become a lot more chill about the EA stuff. And I mean, if she wasn't as chilled as she was, then
let's not talk
she'd
about
probably
your,
get pissed off at me for playing Azure.
Let's not talk about your wife.
That's fair.
Let's talk about
we'll talk about our wife.
Our wife.
Okay,
No, but
but
like
I think it's important because it just
no,
shows
it
that.
literally isn't.
I
It
mean,
honestly
I'm
isn't.
fucking committed as hell to Ia. Like I don't really care about other Vocaloids and things. It's
Hey, no, we don't say
I
that. We
really
don't say that
have.
here.
I know. Well, I don't mean it. I personally do not really listen to other Vocaloids
But
and
what
stuff.
I'm
It's
saying is
not.
that like you went from like having no ear merge to like all the ear merge that anybody can ever think
Oh
about.
yeah, yeah.
And
Oh god, yeah.
I put the emphasis on that, like the fact that you can't really buy any of those anymore. Like they're just gone. They're gone forever.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
Well, the
you
little charm,
like
you
yeah,
know.
like just the things that you already got, like you found in Akihabara. Like people,
hmm
I sometimes I talk to other people like and then they go like, oh, I want this, like this old merch. I'm like, oh, too bad, you just can't get it anymore. They're like, why? It's nice, but like
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, too bad. They're making it once and they're not making it ever again. Like you just can't get it
yeah.
anymore. Like
Well,
good
like
luck.
the the shirts, the damn the Ia the Ia cheerleader one
Mm-hmm.
that I missed out on over 2 seconds because for some reason the page fucked up when I wanted to order it from the
The EU site.
Hachimaki.
Uh huh.
Yeah, the EU site. And so I ended up getting the One, but then Max found me the Ia cheerleader
He
full
really is a
graphic.
godsend in like
He is. He is. I love that. I love him. He Oh my god, I wouldn't have a good portion of the merch I have if it wasn't for him. Like I said, that little charm that you showed me, you're like, oh yeah, I carry this everywhere. I'm like, I fell in love with that. I'm like, I'd love to have that. And you're just like, yeah, good luck. You know, you might lucky and find it, but we both knew that wasn't going to happen. And then I'm like, oh, and then you showed me EA00, and I'm like, oh, that would be amazing. Max just comes out
oh
of the
oh yeah,
wind and
he finds like the most
like the
random
fucking
things.
son of God himself. And in one hand he has EA00, in the other hand he has charm, and he says, "I have these for you."
I
And
think
I'm
it's
like,
yeah.
"What?"
So you probably don't know this. You probably don't know this. When we went to that first concert in 2019, right?
hmm
That was the first time I met
Yeah.
Max. Did you
Really?
know that? That was the first time I met him.
I didn't. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So
I
so
thought you had met them. I thought
no
you had met him before that. You
no
know.
no 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 no. That was the first time I met him. And cause it was weird, right? Cause you never really thought that I was so close with him, and yet that was the first time I knew him,
Yeah.
right? Cause like we were just talking, and then he's just like this guy, cause he lives in Japan and he's Chinese, right? And I'm Chinese,
Yeah.
and it was a weird thing because, um, on my first concert,
No need to brag. All right.
no, I mean like, what's there to brag about? No, I'm
I'm
just
kidding. I'm kidding.
no, like, we talked before. We talk on like QQ, which is like a Chinese it's like a Chinese Discord, I guess.
hmm
It's like a Chinese messaging
Yeah.
site. Like we're on the same like Chinese EA fan group, I guess. And then we talk, and then like it was weird because I'm like, cause he's in Japan, and I'm like, oh, I go to Japanese concerts, and I went to that first concert. So then we talk because we knew that I'm going to this concert and he's going to that, and he's going to that concert. So like that, we're talking about like the concert that we all met. And I'm like, I'm going to the concert, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm going to the concert too. And it was weird because he knew I was Chinese, and he knows like he kind of had an idea because I saw you when you went to your first concert, which was the Party A Go Go finale, 2018, April of 2018. He's like, I saw you in that concert. You had long hair, and I'm like, how did you know? He's like, oh, I knew that you were Chinese, and there really wasn't that many Chinese people in Japan that didn't know anybody. You were
Mhm.
just there. I'm like, why didn't you say hi? He was like, oh, I just didn't say hi, and I was like, okay. So it no, it was weird because like, um, and I met him for the first time, like in real life, when so I met him the day before I met you, and
That's
and
insane.
and like you would have never guessed that, you would have thought that we were just like lifelong friends or
Tight
something.
as. Oh yeah, thick as
Like,
thieves.
we were just
Yeah,
talking
no,
like
that's
whatever because we're just speaking Chinese like whatever, right? Um,
yeah.
but
I mean, don't get me wrong. We all bonded
no,
extremely
yeah,
quickly.
and I think
Um,
that's one of the things that bring us together, right? It's just the fact that there's really not that much of a gap. like because we all knew each
No.
other off like online, and then when we got together offline, it's pretty much just the same people. Just like as you said, like the community is just so tight knit that you really don't feel like
Exactly.
like you have anything to like you have like
No.
you don't. It's
I
not,
mean,
like,
I
different.
don't parrot about in the Vocaloid Discord. I'm not really that active in yours, but I'm still there and I still pay attention to things. But when it comes to things like this, it's easy just to drop things and have that conversation. I mean, like we are now, because it's easy
I mean, like
to.
I don't feel bad about not talking to you at all. I mean, like not.
Oh no,
That's
no,
not what I
neither
mean. Like, I'm
neither
just
do
saying,
I.
like people have
I
things to
haven't talked
say.
to anyone in weeks.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, but it's good because when there's the opportunity
Right,
too,
right.
we were able to talk to each other and things lined up. I'm away from home for work, and so I mean I could basically talk as long as I
No,
need to
go
with no
back to the
interruptions.
story. Back to the story.
Sorry, yeah, back to the story.
What was the story about? No, like
But
oh man, that story's going way too long. So like
like when we met for the
it
first
was
time,
weird
and then
because
we're going
like
to the
yeah,
arcades and everything
I met
together,
him
and
and
we're
then
fucking causing trouble at the restaurant.
you always oh man, that's awful.
count on count
That was after no, but
count
that was after
on
the
the
concert. No,
Americans.
you haven't talked about during
Yeah,
the
I know, I
concert.
know.
It was so
Sure.
it was so strange because like we went to the concert together, but we never like we didn't sit next to each other. But that was fine.
No.
But like
Yeah, I mean, we all had the different classes of tickets. I had to buy multiple tickets, and I
yeah,
didn't really understand it at the
um,
time. But and so I went
no,
with my
but
wife.
like you, how like was the concert as good as you thought it would be?
I
Like,
didn't have any expectations. When I do something new,
was the
I
Blu-ray
don't.
out? Was the Party
I
a Go
hadn't
Go
seen it.
Blu-ray like out?
It was released. It was, but I never saw it.
Okay.
I didn't. I considered it before I went. I thought about watching it online,
Mm-hmm.
but I stopped because I I had no idea what I was going into, and I liked it that way. I didn't
So you have
want
like
to
no
know what I was
expectation.
going into. Exactly.
I feel
Exactly.
like
And
man, I'm kind of like that's like the first concert experience like in real life, like in real life right now we're talking about in real life.
yeah,
It's honestly
yes,
like
yes, of course, of
magical.
course.
Like I can't um I remember my first concert. But like no. Um no because like it's I feel like it's double special for you because like it's your first concert. It's your first time in Japan. And then they're doing
Hmm.
a new concert. So you don't even know what songs they're playing in that concert. And then on top of that, they're doing an entirely new projection setup that's like super amazing. Right?
Hmm.
And that was literally like the quadruple whammy for you. To go to Japan for the first time.
Oh,
To see an
it
Ia
was
concert
literally
for the first
perfect.
time.
Like,
To see the premiere of Aria for the first time. And to see a new
Mhm.
projection setup for the first time.
yes, it was. I literally can't imagine anything better than it. It was that
You
good,
went to
and
see
there's very few things in this
right.
life that I would consider utterly perfect, and that is basically at the top of the list.
No, you went to see Ia concert at
Uh-huh.
first place production at its finest.
Yes.
And
It was amazing.
and you peaked there and I feel like every other concert from there is just like downhill. But now let's talk about your first
I mean,
concert.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Going into it, so I'll step you through basically how I felt. I went in, I saw the chairs and stuff. I was a little confused because I kind of have the American concept of the concert stuck in my head: standing room only, packed in, just kind of nut to butt type of thing. Well, this wasn't that. And then it was sitting down and I watched the opening, but I just continued to just hold back my thoughts, keep anything negative at bay and go, I don't know what this is. I should just roll with it. And then it started. And the concert started, and then people were standing up and actually going along with the songs and the glow sticks, everything. And then that was when it hit me like a freight train. It was like, oh my god, I'm at a freaking Ia concert.
Because yeah, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
finally.
yeah. I mean, like I feel like the Aria concert is kind of slow. It has like that slow build up in the beginning, right?
Yeah,
It's like so for
yeah,
people
but it
that
was worth it.
right, right, and it's worth it because you have that slow build up. It's like that they like to do that lore story building, whatever. Like some people don't get. I still
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
how I want to feel about that. But then like it's very slow in the beginning, and people just kind of like watching a movie in the beginning, and then like
Hmm.
bam, there's a concert. Like everybody's standing up with a glow stick, and I feel like, and like, and I love the fact that you have never went to a concert in the state, because that is just sad. Like, like I mean, like I went to two concert in the state, and I was like, man, this is like, you know, not to bag on the fans in the state because Japan have their own culture of like chanting and cheering and a glow stick and all that kind of stuff,
Oh, of
right?
course, of course.
And I don't think we
Yeah,
have that kind of like concert going culture in the state, and people going to like and I am not gonna say like, oh, the fans in the states are not good. No, I just don't think that like we have that kinds of concert going culture, and people are just not as organized, and I think going to a concert um, like in Japan is a completely different experience compared to like going to a concert in the states. And you went when you
yeah.
went to that first concert in Japan, and you have no idea what the song's gonna come out. You were just following what the other Japanese people next to you were doing, and you're having a blast, right?
Absolutely. I
And
just did what everyone else was. There was a guy in the who had just jumped up and he's like turning around, he's like putting his arms up, like, come on, come on. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna go with the flow,
I mean, yeah, you're
When
not
in
gonna
Rome.
disappoint that
It was
Japanese
the
dude
Romans
sitting
too.
next to you. Like, if he's that happy, you gotta be as much as happy as he is, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, I was happy. At first, I didn't really know how to express it. I mean, like, I was like the lone white dude
How
in
does
the
it feel to
crowd,
be
and
the
I'm
only
like, I
white guy
don't
in,
know.
in, in that concert hall? You were literally the only white guy.
Oh, I loved it. It made me feel special.
It doesn't make you feel special. You're a very special boy after all. No, but like I feel
uh,
like I had that um cuz like I said that you had your first EA concert, first time in Japan, first time the new projection set up. I had all that in like
mhm.
steps, you know. I went to my first EA
Yeah.
concert in LA, and the crowd didn't know the songs. They didn't know what was gonna. They didn't know. They just went to a EA concert without knowing what it is. They didn't know what was gonna come on, and nobody was. That was the first EA concert, and I was the only person who
Hmm.
knew what song was gonna come out. Nobody knows how to chant. Nobody knows how to do the light stick, and that was fine because I was in the state. And I went to my first concert in Japan, and everybody knew what to do. And that was my second concert, and it was the same set list. That was so much a better experience, right? And that was my
Oh
first
yeah.
time in Japan too. And then after that, I went to my first concert in Europe, in Paris, and that was the first time. That was the first time they did the Aria concert. So I experienced the Aria concert in Paris about the set list, and that was their experimental premiere in like Europe. And then I went to
Hmm.
the first Aria concert in Japan with you, and that was a completely different experience. As I said, I had those four different experiences in like four separate times. So I was like, every time I wasn't really surprised. I just took it as they go, and
Yeah.
and not to say that it wasn't great for me. It was not. It was lovely. But I just feel like when I was watching you, I was like, you were just having all that experience at the same time. That just like all at
Oh, it was
once.
amazing. It was almost over.
Right.
Having all that at once, I'll never, I mean, I remember almost every moment of that concert because it was just that good.
Right. And you didn't know like you didn't even have any expectation. You just felt great like coming out of it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And like
Absolutely.
it, I don't ever think that you can like thank God you never went to a concert in the States. You would be so disappointed, man. I think the only thing that you can talk about when you go to a concert in the States is how much better the concert in Japan was. I think that's the only thing
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
pretty
talk
much.
about. Like and and I don't know, like it was because like you went to the concert. That was a very special concert because like they had concert back to back to back to back to back. It was 2 days, two concerts a day, and it was on January 27th, Ia's birthday, and the 28th, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a special
Yep.
live streaming of the live show afterwards. So it was literally 5 concerts.
Oh my god!
Right.
That live show was incredible. The four of us actually got to sit together, and then there was the surprise concert.
Right. They had a
after
mini
it, and we're
concert
just,
at
like,
the 5th
sitting-
concert, right? It was weird.
Oh god, that was amazing.
Right. That was first place at its peak. Right?
Yeah,
Because
everything they did, they executed perfectly. They had the incredible concerts, the incredible venue, the incredible, everything was built. It seemed like they really cared about giving their fans everything that we could really want, and they
you
had
say that,
amazing
right?
merch.
No, but you say that, right?
Yeah.
Because that was the concert that did the fundraiser, and they got
Mm-hmm.
$100,000 for that fundraiser, right? Their goal was like, I want to say their goal was like $50,000, and like in like a few days they met their goal by twofold. It was their anniversary concert,
Nice.
and then like everybody's was like, oh, we're just gonna pay money and everything's gonna happen. Cause when they announced that concert, I made it happen. Like I was like, oh, I'm gonna go. I booked my ticket, $500 for the tickets, and it's because you went to 2 concerts, right? You got the 100.
I just went.
You went to 2 separate concerts, of the 4. You went to 2 of the 4 concerts.
Only one.
Oh, because
I
you only
only
bought the
went to
tickets
one.
for the second one. Never mind. So
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you went to that
I
one?
wanted the CD.
you're right. You wanted the CD. It has that bonus CD. Whatever. We're not gonna go into that. So I went to
Yeah,
2
yeah.
concerts. I went to 2. I bought the $500 ticket for the first one, and then I bought the $80 ticket for the second concert. I just went to 2, one in each day, and
Yeah.
RU and I hang out outside of that. But then there's that after show. It was like the peak of like first place production because they had a trial run in Paris, and they're doing it for Rio in Japan. And they had this fundraiser, and they met that goal by like 2 days, and it was by like 100. They wanted $60,000, and they got 120 or something like that. It was crazy, and I was like, oh, we're
Yeah.
gonna put on this big show, right? And they did, and it's great. And we went to that show, and then they had that after show, like of the anniversary live stream, and for the first half, it's just like one guy up and talking about the new things that they released, and they do that every year. They do that every year as a live stream, right? But that year they did a live with like live audience, right? And they did a mini
Yeah.
concert, and they did a mini concert like at the show, which was great, right? But that was the peak of first place. Like, and I want to talk about like, I feel like you are. How many times do I want to say like how lucky that you are? Like, that.
Oh, if there is one thing, like I know I don't have good luck in general.
Oh man,
But
I am
when
your
it came
best.
to Ia, everything aligned better than I could have ever hoped in this life or the 100 after it.
I feel like you just met the right people, like so correctly.
I did
and it was
at
so
the right time.
and it was so weird because like, was it after the Oh no, it was after the live show, right? When did you meet Murayama-san? It was after the live show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to the concert. You went to that one concert, right? We hung out, and we made
Yes.
a ruckus at the teriyaki, like the tent, like at the barbecue place. And Max threw up like twice.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did.
Yeah, he threw
Yeah.
up twice. Because I was a bad influence. But nah,
Ah.
but you went to and it was so like looking back at it, like you went to the concert for your first time, and it was. How does it, like, cause like, you didn't like, do you know who Murayama-san was, even before you go to Japan?
I only from you, but not that closely. Like not to the level that I honestly should have.
I mean, like, does
Because
anybody
I mean, it
really?
was you who got it's
Does
like
I
the
feel like that
sign
I feel like
the
nobody really know like who who she was. Like, I mean, it was like a weird thing. Like, I think I feel like it's more of like a Japanese like insider circle thing, you know. Like, there's
Mhm.
a lot of like those hardcore Japanese Ia fans that would stay after the concert, right? They would stick around after the concert and they would talk to the event staff. And Murayama-san would come out and she would say hi to everybody, and and she would greet everybody and talk to the fans. And I don't think anybody would know how to like to do that, if you're a fan. So for people
Yeah.
who doesn't know, like Murayama-san is the she's like the president and CEO of First Place. Like, and it was kind of like a weird thing because, like, because I knew her from I met her at my first concert, like at my first Ia concert. So she was in Los Angeles, and I was being a jerk. Story for another day. But I met her when I was in Los Angeles, and she was like, oh, he's just that guy that really likes Ia, and he's from like America, right? And
All right.
and it was like a weird thing. Like I never really like I was just this persistent fan, and then I met her again in Paris, and she's like, aren't you from the state? I'm like, yeah, and I'm in Paris. Right? It was weird for her. I'm like, I came from the state, and I was like, oh, by the way, I was in your Japan concert like 2 months ago, but I didn't get to see you, which is kind of sad. She was like, oh, you were in Japan too? I'm like, yeah. So basically, I had the same travel plan as you, lady. Like, you were in Japan, I was in Japan, and then you flew to Paris, and I probably flew to Paris about the same time, and we went to the same concert. It was kind of like that. No, but like I met her in Paris. She was like, oh, and I met Erica there, who's the international manager for First Place, like great lovely lady, and
Mhm.
I always feel like weird that I feel like blessed that too, like for me that like liking getting into this fandom, like I tell people like I like Ia, but I also like the people that's behind the company, right? I feel like I am
Oh yeah.
I am so much more invested to just this product that they sell. I feel like to the fact that I get to talk to the president of the company and tell her what I think. Well, obviously she doesn't really care what I think.
Actually, yeah.
But
But I
she
mean,
just sits
just
there and
getting that
listens.
getting that privilege alone.
Right. It's kind of nice, just like, hey, to say that, hey, I think you're doing a great job. I'm having a lot of fun. I'll see you next time.
Yeah. I mean, the getting the chance, having the picture with all of us together.
That was a weird. That was a weird
That was
I feel like you just like you went for the first time, and then like I was like, oh, Cookie, oh, come, stay, stay after the show, right? It was weird because like everybody's trying to leave,
Mhm.
right? And I'm like, no, just stay.
Yeah.
Just stay, because it was funny, and then she comes out, and I feel like hilarious because and she comes down and she comes and say hi to Max, and obviously she knows Max. Because Max literally goes to every single concert in Japan, and he's cross-playing, And then she comes out and she's like, say hi to me, I'm say hi to her. And I was like, hey, this is Cookie, my friend from the States, and, And it was such a weird introduction to introduce you to the president of First Place on your first concert. And you were just
I was there for it.
You were
though.
so excited. You were so excited to see, like, just the concert and just experience the concert for the first time. And I think she was excited to see how excited you were.
It was nice to see how receptive she was to
I think that's a Japanese thing.
actually seeing. Yeah, because it was amazing because you look at it sometimes and go, this is not a Western fandom. This is not something that, there are few Westerners compared to the amount of Japanese people, but it's like it didn't matter. It's like it didn't matter to her. She just was happy that we loved Ia just as much as any Japanese fan does. And
I mean it's kind of like a dime a dozen. I think like for us that's who's Ia fans who's willing to fly to Japan.
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
rare. It's kind of rare for her to see.
Yeah.
You know. I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
there's more than one
So-
of you. Wow.
Yeah, but for her to take the time, I know, right? But for her, you've got the West Coast covered, I've got the East Coast. But for her to actually just take the time and talk, that's what matters.
I think she's
Like,
she's incredibly
it's-
nice. Like if she wasn't talking to us,
Oh, she is. Moriyama-san's great.
yeah. If she wasn't talking to us, she would talking to like the Japanese fans. Like if she goes, like, you know, she talked to us and she go and talk to the Japanese fans. I think she likes doing that, and she does that every concert. And it's not. It's like it's nothing. Honestly, nothing special.
Yeah.
I think like if you are a fan, if you are in this fandom long enough,
It's
like yeah, if you're in this fandom
Yeah.
long enough as a Japanese fan, you will know to stay after the concert, and if you want, you can talk to the president, and like she will be happy to talk to you, and I think that's very rare. Like, I don't think you can say that to any fandom. Like I went to the Leah concert, like the one that for the first place anniversary concert. We stay after, and you know what? And it's weird that you know you went and Leah come out and you went and talk to Leah, and I'm like, I mean, should I be able to do that? I mean, sure, I guess. Again, like incredibly nice. I think that comes with being like a like and again, First Place is an extremely small company. Like
yeah,
like she pretty much runs just about everything in terms of like production and everything like that. And she's amazing lady, and she takes the time out of her day just to like talk to like people that she shouldn't really care about, I guess. Like, you know, we're her customers at the end of the day. But she still comes out and says, hey, you know, how you guys doing? How you guys enjoy the concert? And I think it's very important for her to like to show her that, you know, hey,
even
you know,
though it might not. Looking back on, you said it's not that special, but it is, because it's special. It was incredibly special to me.
oh, I mean for you, yeah, I meet her like 700 times.
And yeah, but for me, having that chance, and you know, that's largely because of you that I had that chance.
You know, I think you really like Ia, and I think like I should give you that experience of meeting the people behind, you know, the person like behind Ia. I think it's extremely important to like, you know.
It is, and it's incredible, and you know, it's still why I still have faith in First Place, because I know what they're capable of, and I understand that we're living in a very difficult time, and I want to go to Japan again, to go to another Ia concert. I want that chance again. You know, $500 ticket and go up on stage and get my picture taken with Ia. You know, it's silly, but it's what I look forward to. I can't wait until I have that opportunity again, and as soon as I have that opportunity, I'm going to take it, because that's what I want. I want to go with you and Max.
Oh, that's cute.
And RRU.
That's very cute. Yeah, we're not having that anytime
Okay,
soon.
so going to the concert, going to the concert though, the four of us together, and going and having that experience of going there, and then afterwards and talking about it and just having a blast. That was almost as important as the concert itself, because you're enjoying it with other people. You're increasing your enjoyment just by being able to talk about it. If I had gone there alone, and
I mean, like, let's be honest, you wouldn't be able to go alone. Like, if you didn't know anybody, like, you wouldn't be able to.
No,
you wouldn't be able to go at them first.
Exactly. So it renders the point moot. But I think it still stands that it's something that was amazing, especially because it was enjoyed together with you guys.
Let's just say I made your trip
You know,
so much better.
You did, Rush. See, there's that modesty that I'm so proud of you for.
I feel like I was like the Make a Wish Foundation athlete that I just made your dream.
Yeah, you pretty much were.
Without the sad
without
the downside, like without the sad ending part, you know. Like, you know, I made your EA.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Little do you know, this will be your last EA concert. No, I hope that, like, no, honestly, I really do miss going to concert with like actual people. Like, you know.
So do I.
I hate watching it on the video, but that was it's been an hour. That's all I want to talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I want to talk about next?
Well,
You know what
What's
we're gonna talk
that?
about next? When we have time next time,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna talk about how we're gonna talk about the second Kickstarter campaign, which was not very happy about.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But you didn't want that $3,000 guitar, Rush?
Nah, bro, I don't want a $3,000 guitar.